Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, gentlemen, and non binary and non gender conforming individuals. Good morning. How art thou? Mm. Hey, black, educated, and pretty. Hey, Sheba Sannon. Mm. I wonder if this is a Sheba. No, Sheba's last name was not Shannon. I taught a Sheba some years ago when I first started teaching. And so when I saw that name, Sheba said Shannon, Sannon. Her last name was not Sannon, but it made me think about that Sheba. Uh, hey, IMC Brown. Hey, Yana. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Cams. What's going on, people? What is going on? How art thou today? We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to educate ourselves. We are going to empower ourselves and be better for it. I find, ladies and gentlemen, hey, Terrence, what's going on? Good morning. Let me turn down my CNN. We're going to talk it out. We're gonna talk it out and we're gonna get some stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. This if I seem a little preoccupied, I am actually um me and some people are we're doing a welfare check on somebody and on an older gentleman in one of my organizations. We haven't heard from him, haven't seen him in a while. His car is in the driveway, but nobody's been able to contact him for a few days. So I got people, down there. We get law enforcement involved with welfare checks on him. So that's why if I seem a little preoccupied, but don't worry, I got time today. Okay. Um, yeah. So yeah, give me a second. Let me send this tweet out and then we are going to be good. Um all right. Um Hold on, y'all. Sorry about this. All right. So y'all it's so much as y'all know going on in these yet to be United States of America. And we're gonna parcel it out and talk about it. I thank everybody for being here. Can I get some shondos in the chat from everybody? Hey Abby, hey Quintessential, hey Miss Trisha P, hey Black Educated and Pretty, Fayette, Tanya, everybody, hey, what's up? Let's get down to it. Let's learn, let's empower ourselves, let's educate ourselves, and let's be better for it. What I was about to say earlier was I find that y'all know over the course of the last year or so, we have had, you know, a pinch here, a pinch there, where we will talk politics or we will talk what's going on in these, as I like to call it, yet to be United States of America. And we talk about so many things. And oh no, I shit the wrong thing. No, that's is that mine? Oh boy, did I share the wrong thing? Yep. Um, Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. All right. So so y'all listen. They want to talk about a whole lot of stuff. They want to talk about insurrections. They want to talk about impeachment, and we'll get to all of that stuff. We'll talk about all of these things. 'Cause these are the things that need to be discussed. These are the things most pressing. But what I was about to say, I keep getting sidetracked, is we continue to, or I should say, I continue to feel this drumbeat in my head. And I continue to feel the pulse of what needs to be addressed and needs to be talked about here on my channel. And I keep getting pushed back in this lane of politics and in this lane of activism and in this lane of hey BKZ Empress, and in this lane of just being uh call it what you want, a microphone, a megaphone for things that we need to really concern ourselves with in this country. Because a lot of times when you watch mainstream media, and I don't care which side you watch the Fox News, the MSNBC, the CNNs, even NPR to a certain degree, and C-SPAN and stuff like that, they do censor what they speak on. They filter what they speak on, and they edit it, and it's edited and aligned to a certain perspective. And a lot of times, Black people and other people of color are eliminated from it. And even when they do address issues surrounding Black people, or they do address issues surrounding us, even that is cloaked in all types of whitewashed, real heavy laden but subtle racism. It always is. Always is. And these are from the ones that we see it for and watch a lot and respect. So with that being said, I have found not just in recent weeks and recent months that I am being pushed more into this lane where because I do have a lot of contacts and I do have a lot of access to a lot of information. I have a lot of information that I oftentimes just carry and keep to myself. And that is not fair to all of you all and to just the general public at large. My lips feel so chapped. Y'all give me a chance. I need to put some chapstick on because it's cold and I don't want my lips to get all cracked and all types of stuff. Let me. Where the hell is my chapstick? God. Oh dear God. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. So my lips feel real chapped. Anyway, it's cold, y'all. It's cold. Sorry about that. Hey, Monk Chip. So hey, little baby. So y'all forgive me, but you may start to see me do more and more of this because we need to be informed. Right. We can't have me bleeding. But we need to be and stay informed. And we gotta have a perspective. And I'm not saying that I'm all knowing and all right in what I know, but at least if we can start a conversation, and I don't want this to be me talking at you all, but I definitely want always our conversations to be organic and for you all to be a part of the conversation because the more you all can be involved and informed, and the more we can peel away some of these layers, excuse me, and pull away the curtains, and you start to see more and understand more, you can be more informed, and it can help you, your family, your loved ones, people who you care about. So, if I had to have a title for what we're going to discuss today, Did I say hello to little baby Monk Chip and everybody else who came in? If I didn't, hey y'all, as y'all come in. Um, if I had to have an overall title, this is not a sermon by any stretch of the imagination, but for this live, most of what I'm going to be speaking of is surrounding, quote, the big smoke screen. When I wrote down some notes about stuff that I had in my head, I wrote down, hey, Nicole, the big smoke screen, because that's so often what's going on. There's always a big smoke screen. There's always these smoke and mirrors. You always have these magicians, politicians and political pundits and all of these people who are saying all of these things and doing all of these things, but it's all just a big smoke screen. It's all to get your eyes, your senses, and everything about you away from what's really going on behind the scenes. Okay. And let me start with your president. Let me start with your president. Okay. Just start with that young man. Hey, Amber. Um, as we have seen with this young man, the entirety of his life, I'm not going to even talk about just the last 4 years. We're going to speak on the entirety of this young man's life, okay? Everything that he does is all, whenever you see him do some big rah, 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 whenever you see him do some big, grandiose, horrible thing, whenever you see him um um inciting not just riots and insurrections, but inciting the worst of everything and everybody and making everybody go be aghast. That is only a smokescreen. That is to get your attention off of what really you should be focused on. Because he dare not have you focus on what you really should be focusing on. He always wants you to focus on this big horrible scene that he has created that can take your eyes off the prize and take your eyes off of what you really should be focusing on. Hey Valerie, hey Nappy Child, what's going on? Y'all better act right, Nappy Child in the chat. Y'all know that's the head mod. She cracks skulls. Okay. Anyway, and so when we had this insurrection, okay, that happened last week, Wednesday, when you had Donald Trump for the last 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks or so since the election, continuously um stoking the flames of racist, neo-Nazi, white supremacists. And we saw it and we knew it. Here's what was going on. It wasn't enough. Hey, Jason, there wasn't enough eyes and ears taken away from what we should have been worried about. So because there wasn't enough eyes and ears and the five senses and information taken away from what we should be worried about, he said to himself, "Oh, let me create a bigger event. Let me create something that's going to dwarf anything. It's going to cast a shadow on any and everything that's going on, not just across the fruited plains, but across the world." Do you understand me? So he did what he does. He created this big event. And let's be clear, he and other leaders of these nefarious organizations created what happened last week. But why? What were they trying to draw our attention away from? What they're trying to draw our attention away from, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we are coming up on 500,000 people dying. Let me say that again. Let me throw that number out to you again. We are quickly going toward 500,000 people. 500,000 people who have died. We're come every day we have more than 4,000 people dying. We are quickly approaching a day when 5,000 people a day will perish and die and no longer be here. We are closely and quickly and with the alacrity unbeknownst to human mankind. We are so quickly hurling toward 500,000 people that would have died in just this country alone from a disease and a pandemic that was easily manageable and controllable. Every medical expert will tell you it was manageable, it was controllable, it could have been curtailed. Not that no one would have died, but we certainly, in a civilized first world country with the full scope of science, with the highest level of science ever in the history of mankind, okay, it could have been easily curtailed, easily thwarted, easily managed. You got third world countries managing this better than us. But no, what happened? They wanted no parts of it. They didn't even want to acknowledge what was going on with the pandemic. And so, because we are on the precipice of such an alarming number, this man and all of his people who align with him, the very same people who think it's a birthright for you to kill other people by spreading this thing by not wearing masks or not using PPE or hand sanitizers and stuff like that. They say to themselves, "Oh, self, we can't let these alarming numbers, go out there and people start to look at us as if we're the problem for this. No, let's have this big, horrific event that will take our mind off of it. It will be, um, this is a great use of for us, by us, meaning for white people and by white people, which means that you can pretty much count on little to no real arrests and convictions in this, but that's we'll get there in a second. But let's create this event because we don't want any more attention paid to what's really going the real national security threat right now, which is a virus and a pandemic that is killing hundreds of thousands of citizens. Okay, so we're gonna have this insurrection. And they're going to allow us to do it. You want to know how and why they're going to allow us to do it? Because the police are with us. They're in our ranks. We saw it. It's easily done. You see how easily that was done? Let's be clear here, people. You have documented videos and documented pictures of people of these terrorists as they were coming to the Capitol doors and different corridors and different access points to the Capitol building. They were showing military ID to the policemen and other police IDs and badges that they had because they said, "Oh, we're one of you. So you have to let us in." And that's why you see their fellow police officers taking selfies and helping them in and patting them on the back and making sure that they gave them water to put in their eyes because of the, tear gas. Here's another part that they're not going to um, tell you. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but the CDC and the World Health Organization, the CDC, and every credible medical organization, scientific organization across the globe has said this disease does affect Black people and many people of color more so than it does their white counterparts. The death and the mortality rate is much more grave for us. So if I'm white people looking at this saying, "Oh, well, it's going to affect y'all more than it's going to affect us. We have more of a chance of coming back from this than y'all, then okay, it's no problem for us. I don't care. We ain't gonna wear no mask. I don't care. That's gonna be y'all cross the beer, not us, not ours. That's how they feel. Hmm. I mean, it's so funny that all with all of this commentating, nobody seemed to have deduced what this man is doing, which is what he is who he always was. The guy has never changed. He always creates these big horrific events to get the spotlight off of what we should be focused on. Because what we should be focused on is the fact that there's a freaking vaccine that they're doing little to nothing to get out to the public. They're not even trying to get the vaccine out like they should. They're not trying. For those of you all that fall into the camp of the I ain't taking no vaccine. Oh no, I don't need the vaccine. That's that's your story. You have every right to do that. They offer me the vaccine today. I'll be right down there today to take it. I'm just letting you know because I'm not playing these games with y'all. But my point being that there is nothing being done to save the lives of the American people. And let's be clear, Congress, don't look for me to be crying for y'all, Congress. Don't look for me to be feeling all bad for you. Oh my God, they stormed the Capitol. Oh God, they were holding congressmen and women hostage. They were holding senators hostage. Oh, this is so horrible. Really, really, really. How about Congress? Y'all do more to put things in place to protect the lives of the American citizens to which you are elected to represent, the constituents to which you love so much. How about doing more to put more pressure on the administration to get and more pressure on state governments to get these things out there? How about you all do more in terms of coming with some type of um uh regimented phase out of this vaccine so that it could reach more people and at a higher rate and at a higher velocity because y'all over here once again being anthropomorphic, y'all did not give two rats asses until these white supremacists came to your door. Y'all would still be pandering around Congress, and let's just be clear, both houses, the House of Representatives, which is run by Democrats, and the Senate that was being run by Republicans and still being run by Republicans until the 20th. Both houses were fucking off. They didn't care. They knew these people were there. They knew there were all kinds of nefarious organizations. They knew who this president was. They knew who these other senators and congressmen were that are in their ranks. That they so often says, my colleague so and so, my fellow member of Congress, my fellow senator so and so, some of the same awful people. So if it took them burning it down damn near. And it took them making y'all feel so uncomfortable because God forbid all of these white men and women, the black people in Congress were used to this for a long time. You know that the black people, we was like, okay, this is how this goes. We used to this. But it's the white people. They did not care about any of this. And I'm talking about the Dems. I ain't even got to the Republicans yet. We're not even going down that road just yet. I ain't saying I'm not. We'll get there. But look, I'm talking about them. I'm talking about the liberals. I'm talking about the progressives and so forth. For all of the talk that they had about, oh, we're here for you, Black Lives Matter, this, that, and the third, they weren't putting a lot of teeth into anything. They weren't doing a whole lot to stop the threat of these organizations, the QAnons and the Proud Boys, and entities on the internet like Bright and on the radio like Breitbart, and all of that whole Limbaugh arm of the right wing Republicans. They weren't doing anything to really put any teeth into those people, and they will watch us black people have all kinds of atrocities happen to us just because we were protesting, and just because a little CVS and Target got burned down, and they thought that that was so awful, and they didn't come out and just castigate the police and the use of force, but now, because it was on their watch, because it was them, now they have concern. And it's the same thing with COVID. They know and they see, and the statistics have shown that it's killing off people of color at a much more alarming rate than it is our white counterparts. You see Congress making any moves right now? Did you see Congress making any moves to say anything about the vaccine and how to best, get the vaccine out there? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. It's so laughable. It's so laughable. I mean, they had a whole list of people who do who they was gonna hit up, sugar honey iced tea. They had a whole list. Now all of a sudden, um, you know, now y'all want to have a back? Nope, 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 nope. I need y'all to have y'all priorities in check. See, what happened was y'all egos got checked. See, that's what happened because there's a sense of by white people. They always have the NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard, mentality. Oh no, NIMBY, not in my backyard. Oh no, this could never happen to us. And that's how Congress felt. I would venture to tell you the black congressmen and women and senators already know the truth. They already know anything could happen at any given day. So if you black, you stay ready. Hey, watch this. That's probably why Cory Booker keeps his desk right by the door. Because he probably already be like, listen, I'm black. I already know at any given moment it could go down. Maybe I need to be able to get out of here and exit quickly. Okay? Because we're black people, we know. You sometimes you just be like, yeah, any given day now. But white people in their era of white privilege, they always are going to feel, no, not me. It couldn't happen to us. So they had their guard down. And see, even if they had their guards up, what they failed to realize is you have um awarded, you have praised, you have given credence to the police force, the band of merry thugs that you call police across the police force. Because let's be clear, that's the first set of thugs that was rolling across the fruited plains for the last how many decades is the police force. Okay. Those are the first set of thugs that we should be talking about. And those same set of thugs that y'all give guns and, tasers and badges and give the right to kill off black people and have no consequences are the same people that are part of these nefarious organizations, these white supremacist organizations, these New Order, Ku Klux Klan type people. These same police officers are a part of that. And what they do is they teach other members, they have on their websites and things where these same police officers who you people never want to convict will sit up there and show them how to do these things, how to get away with things, what to say, how to um get away with all of these horrible things that can be done and can have you slip through the cracks of the justice system. And so the setup for all of this happened long ago. Long ago. But now Congress, now they want to, move so swiftly to. I'm not saying they're wrong. But what I'm saying is this should have been done a while ago. A while ago. I'm getting to a bigger point. Don't worry, these dots are about to be connected in just a few moments because I'm about to get to a real big point. Now, we had this event last Wednesday, and I told you all that it's all a smoke screen for them trying for this administration, trying to get your eyes off of the fact that they are killing hundreds. I mean, there's a disease killing hundreds of thousands of Americans out there right now. Okay, do you hear me? We are coming up on 500,000 people dead. 500,000. Let's be clear. Now, you also during this insurrection, see, let's talk about COVID. Let's really break this down. Now, y'all gonna have to give me these 5 or 10 minutes. Because see, the dangerous thing is COVID is a disease that we know has the power and propensity to kill individuals. Okay. You got people refusing to even do anything to not just protect other people, hey, Fifi TV, but protect others. You have members of Congress that on last Wednesday refused, and not just last Wednesday, during their entire time in Congress during this pandemic, refused to even do something as small as wear a mask and use other PPE to protect other people from them. And so, what we end up having happen is during this insurrection last week, when they had to quickly take members of Congress and throw them in rooms and shelter them away from nefarious miscreants that were being subversive to the United States government and put them in these small places. And now I got someone who is trying to protect themselves by having on a mask, sitting right next to a rat ass bastard that don't even want to acknowledge that the pandemic is real and doesn't want to wear any mask or PPE. And what do you have happen? You got people running, you got people yelling, breathing hard, droplets all through the air. Let's be clear. Droplets all through the air, a perfect storm of spreading of a disease like COVID. And because some red ass bastard doesn't even want to acknowledge, doesn't even want to take the safety precaution to protect, because as a congressman, how dare you want to protect citizens around the country? No, that would never be your job as a member of Congress or at all to try and protect citizens. So what do? You don't acknowledge it. You have an event like last Wednesday, and now other members of Congress have now started to test positive for COVID because we have idiots and assholes who don't want to acknowledge that it exists. A mess. Congressman Bonnie Watson Coleman, first one, had what was that, yesterday or day before yesterday? I tested positive for COVID. I was locked, I was sheltered in a room with one of these assholes that doesn't want to acknowledge that there's a pandemic out there, and now she's tested positive for COVID. Mind you, the woman is 75 years old, which makes her more, you know, susceptible to falling victim to the worst parts of the disease. And she's a cancer survivor. Just last night, um, the my other lady, Pramila Jayapal, she just from Washington. Now, Representative Coleman is from New Jersey, but my girl Jayapal from Washington, she has announced, I think last night, that she tested positive because she was locked in a room with some of these assholes that don't even want to acknowledge that these things are going on. And here's what's so insidious about it. Um, I think both of them had already taken the first dose of the vaccine, but it wasn't yet time for them to take the second. And because the first dose is not enough to make you immune to the disease, do you see where I'm going? A mess. A mess. A complete and utter mess. I think as the layers start to unpeel, we are going to find that more and more individuals were involved with this event. Now, excuse me, let me say this. Let me show you the setup. I'm about to let me show y'all the setup, okay? Let me show y'all. Hold on one second. Just got a text. Let me show y'all the setup right here, okay? Here's the setup. I have full well I have full belief that Congress is going to do all of these articles of impeachment, so forth, that will pass the House without a doubt. I don't. Mitch McConnell has already said he's not even introducing this stuff to the Senate floor until January 19th, which ensures that nothing in terms of convicting him in the Senate will happen until after he's out of office. I'm very I'm more sure than I'm not sure that at least a portion of the articles that says that he should not be able to run for office again, if he's convicted by the Senate. Well, if he's convicted by the Senate, he won't be able to run for federal office again. But I have no doubt that at the very minimum, he won't be able to run again. Okay. Here's the problem. Here's the setup. Here's the setup. Your president, number 45, has set the blueprint. He has shown the Republican Party that you can be as racist as you want, you can be as bigoted as you want, you can be as far right of center as you could ever well want to be, and still ensure that you are going to have a vast majority of the American populace behind you. That's for damn sure. He gave the blueprint for that. Now, if y'all do not see that Senator Joshua Hawley is the setup, you're missing the whole thing. And if the Senate just as much fervency and zeal that they have toward Donald John Trump, they need to have those same set of balls for the Josh Howleys of the world. I'm not worried about Rafael Cruz because he ain't shit, ain't never gonna be shit, and he's never going to get any higher than he is right now. Okay, Rafael Cruz doesn't have an ice cube's chance in hell of getting any higher, and if they knew enough, you know what I'm saying, they would get him out of there right now. I mean, even the people in the great state of Texas doesn't care about Rafael Cruz. Let's be clear. Those racist ass bastards just didn't want Beto in there because they couldn't stand that on their watch they would have a Democrat in their United States Senate. So they would have voted for a cockroach that claimed to be Republican before they let a Democrat into the Senate seat out of the state of Texas. And you still can't convince me that there weren't some things that were not done behind the scenes to ensure that Rafael Cruz took his seat. But I'm not going to use his fake name. Your name is Rafael Edward Cruz, okay? I ain't calling you all that garbage that you want me to. I'm not giving you what you want, Rafael. You're not even born here. You're from Canada, okay? Let's be clear, Raphael. You are from America's hat. So don't try and walk around here with this cloak of patriotism as if you are this staunch patriot. You weren't even born, and not saying that everybody that wasn't born here can't be American and can't be a patriot, because I'm not saying that. But Rafael Cruz, you're not going to go down this road with me. We're not going to do that with you. But back to my major point here. The setup, ladies and gentlemen, is Josh Hawley. Y'all see all of the um oh, hey, what's up, really B? Y'all see all of the fervency and zeal that they're going at Donald Trump with right now? That photograph of Josh Hawley with his fist up is going to be the photograph that starts his presidential campaign. You heard it here. That very same photograph. Let me read y'all. See, let me read y'all his. Y'all don't see the setup. Let me read y'all his credentials. Let me read you the short bio on this young man that checks every box. All right. He's 41. He just turned 41 on December 31st. Wow, he's a Capricorn. That makes sense. I can see Capricorn in him. Anyway, he's the one who took Claire McCaskill's seat, okay? Now, he took the seat that Claire McCaskill used to have. Now, want to know where he went to school? He went to Stanford. Okay. Went to, the private prep school in Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri. He would then went on to Stanford. Graduated with honors, Phi Beta Kappa. Okay. He then went on to grad school. He taught in for a year in London. Hey, Miss Honey. Hey, Regina. He went to Yale Law School. You see all of the Ivy League. He went to Stanford, went to Yale Law School, taught as in London as a teacher. Okay, got his JD from Yale's Law School. Served as president of the of Yale Law Review's Federalist Society, and y'all know that's as high as it gets at Yale Law. That's all of the boxes that's checked. He's already served as Attorney General for the great state of Missouri. He already in 2018 was one of the Republicans that signed the lawsuit that was challenging or that started the lawsuit challenging the Affordable Care Act. He checks all of the Republican boxes. He's young. He's what some white people will call attractive, has the beautiful wife and all of this, that, and the third. Oh, he checks all of the boxes, keeps himself in shape. He is very intelligent and smart and has the fortitude and wherewithal and the know how and the knowledge and the intelligence to run this country. So now he checks every box for middle of the road Republicans. And he also sealed the vote of the crazies, the yahoos, the cuckoos out there, the way far right of center Republicans. And if you think that the Republican Party is going to have any part of censoring or expulsion of this young man, you are reaching, because that's the setup. Y'all better see the setup. Remember back in the day when they thought that Paul Ryan was the next heir apparent in the Republican Party, and then your president came and kicked all that out of the window and threw all of that out of the window and said, nope, this is the party of Donald Trump. And so now, in order to really garner the lion's share of the Republican vote, You got to be way out there dangling off the right, way out there with all of these cuckoos and yahoos out here. You got to be able to incite the insurrectionists. He checks the box. He checks the box. And if y'all don't see what's about to happen in 2024, guarantee you that young man is going to be at the top of the Republican ticket. He does everything they need him to do. Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, and all of the Republicans in both of those houses are not going to do anything to touch that young man. You might have a couple, one or two, that might speak out and say how horrible he is. And then you know what those one or two are going to do? They're going to fall in line and walk lockstep with every other Republican over there. Let's be clear. A mess. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the setup. And please be clear. Please be clear. Senator Josh Hawley has the makeup and the setup that will garner all of those people in the middle. Because white people don't like giving up their white privilege. And even some of the centrist white people, the independents in the middle, they will go and back a person like a Josh Hawley because he looks like them, because he checks all of the boxes, because he's going to do everything that he needs to do to keep them in power. And white people do not want to lose power. I don't care if they are progressive white person. I don't care if they're liberal. I don't care if they are conservative. I don't care if they are way out fascist right wing. All white people, well, I shouldn't say all. I don't want to deal in definitives. But majority of white people in these yet to be United States of America, no matter how they align, do not want to give up their status. They can look at what is happening to black people and say, yeah, I don't want no parts of that. They can look at what's happening to Hispanic people and say, yeah, I don't think I want that for my family. And so what would they do? They'll do everything in their power to keep that from happening. You know what, Jason? I would love for the same energy that they're having for expelling Donald Trump, who's going to come out of office anyway. I would love for them to have this same energy for all of those Republican politicians. To me, that is where your bread is buttered. That is where you really make a statement, and that is where you really set the tone and let people know. See, Trump is going to be Trump regardless. And I'm not saying that you don't go after him, but the same energy that you have for him, you need to have for all of those Republican members of House of Representatives, for all of those Republican senators. You need to have for Rudy Giuliani, who we've seen. Did y'all not hear the recordings of him calling Tom Tuberville and other senators after the insurrection and just before both houses reconvened saying, oh, we need you to do everything in your power to slow this down. We need you to do everything in your power to keep this vote from going down the right way. We just need a couple of days of whatever. You need a couple of days for what? To have another insurrection? They already have the voicemails of Rudy Giuliani making these phone calls. See, if you're going to have this energy, I want the energy to be sweeping everybody going down. The Rudy Giuliani's of the world, the Donald John Trump Juniors of the world, the they only name Howley and Cruz, but let's not forget Cindy Hyde Smith and Rick Scott and Tom Tuberville and a whole lot of these other badass bastards that was right lock and step with these people, who I would venture to tell you are probably more involved with this insurrection than we can believe. All of, listen, you can't tell me there weren't at least a dozen or more members of the House that knew what was going on, that were probably involved. Okay, you cannot convince me of that. I believe with every fiber of my soul, there were at least a dozen U.S. representatives on that Republican side that knew what was going on, that had every bit of knowledge of what was going on, and probably had a hand in it. You cannot make me not believe that. They were talking about how there was a member, I forgot, somebody's going to remind me. There's a member of Congress that were saying they were in an unmarked office where there was no way to know who was in that office and no way to know what whose office that was. They were in an unmarked office, but those people came directly to that office and called him out by name. I forgot who it was. Jesus. And that only comes from someone in the House or someone in the Senate. And if you and so what I'm saying is Nancy Pelosi, you and some of your cronies, y'all come out disingenuous because when you speak the name Donald John Trump about these articles of impeachment, the next breath better start calling out the names of all of these lawmakers, all of your colleagues in the House of Representatives, all of your colleagues in the Senate that are also just as responsible. If you also don't have indictment or some type of uh, legal action about to happen to Rudy Giuliani, why is he not being brought before the New York bar? The New York bar. Why is he not being brought up? See, you got to have real teeth in this because if you don't, sure, you might get Trump out of there. But guess what? It's not going to stop the machine. They're already planning stuff for this weekend coming up. Hey, Cherry Reese, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You got a president calling the Secretary of State for one of these 50 states in the yet to be United States of America, telling them to violate the law and break the law and just concoct and break the law and just make a presidential election go his way. And then you have his attorney actively after an insurrection, after the Capitol building of these yet to be United States of America was taken over by a mob of thugs and terrorists. After all of that, after members of Congress had to be sheltered away, after they made threats to the Vice President of the United States and the Speaker of the House, after all of that, you have the President's attorney on the phone with members of the Senate telling them to continue to do everything that the terrorists were doing. Because let's be clear, the terrorists were there to stop the vote and the certification of the next president of the United States. And Rudy Giuliani is telling members of the Senate to continue the work of the terrorists. And guess what they did? They fell in line and they did it. So y'all need to miss me with just the articles of impeachment. No, no, oh no. It's a lot more that needs to be done. A lot more. It's a mess. We see, listen, supposedly all of these major corporations are now um backpedaling and pussy popping off of these Republicans and these all of these PACs that they have been supporting for years. You get no hand clap, no kudos or anything. Y'all major corporations ain't shit either. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all always want to come around when it's convenient, when all of the news is on it, when everybody's looking. Now all of a sudden you want to backpedal and pussy pop off something. Now you want to take a stance on things. You ain't shit. And I don't care if you say, oh, I'm not supporting these people anymore because they do horrible things. They've been doing horrible things and you've known it. And you have gaslit these things by giving them money, by telling them it's okay, by year after year funding them with hundreds of millions of dollars. And if we're being clear, we're going into the billions of dollars, billions with a B, that these corporations have used to fund these horrible individuals, to fund these awful political action committees, to fund these organizations that are here to be subversive to the law, to be subversive to the government, to continue the white supremacy that has been going on in these yet to be United States of America. So don't look for me to give any credence or kudos to any of these raggedy ass companies because they ain't shit. The PGA, it's really rich for the PGA to really come out here acting like they doing something. Remember, PGA, you were over there co-signing Augusta National and their level brand of fuckery for how many decades? Don't try to act like you are, you know, cleaning this PGA. PGA, you continued to host all sorts of event at that young man's golf courses. And even if he didn't own them anymore, his name was still on it and attached to it. So he was still getting a cut. So I'm not trying to hit a lot of these organizations, it is really rich for them to now come out and acting like they're all pious and holier than that. And I can't believe I'm not giving money there anymore. Really? Really? Why don't y'all give some of that money to the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus? How about that? Why don't y'all give money to many of the organizations around this country that are working on the ground and at grassroots level to change some of the political atmosphere around here? Some of the organizations that are changing states blue, some of the political action committees that are doing things to really move this country. Because being lost in this is the great work that was done in the state of Georgia. Being lost in this is the blueprint that we can see now that can be taken into other states like the South Carolinas of the world and the Mississippis and the Alabamas of the world and the West Virginias of the world and the Kentuckys of the world so that we can truly get some of these insidious people out of positions of power so that we can get some of the worst forms of human beings out of the halls of Congress. Because if you thought some of the worst parts of the human species were the people who attempted that insurrection, you are wrong. Some of the worst individuals in the history of the human species wear lapel pins that say that they are U.S. Members of the U.S. House of Representatives and members of the United States Senate. That's what we have going on. So we there's two things. There's two major issues. If we're gonna have major issues, damn all this other stuff that Biden's talking about, he wants to do in the first 100 days. And shouts out to Billy B and proverbial one. We had a silly not silly Saturday, Sunday. Oh God. We had a teacher project 2.0 on Sunday. And if you have not gone and watched it, if I can get Nappy Child or one of the mods to put the link to Teacher Project 2.0 in the chat, we had some really good conversation about education and what the Biden administration wants to do. And we gave some real good had some real good conversation about what they should do versus what they want to do because they're not writing all that they are trying to do as well. So go check that out because there was some great conversation there. But let me get back to Biden. Because I told y'all, we hold people who we vote for way more accountable than we hold the people who we did not vote for. Let me tell you something, Joe Biden. Let me tell you something, Joe Biden. I don't want you to sit back and think that all is done now that you have garnered the Senate. What you need to be doing is making a statement. Now I know you said you put Merrick Garland in there and so forth. And Joe Biden, and I didn't like when he said it, but I guess it's true. When Joe Biden was the in the debate, if you remember one of those debates, Joe Biden said, "I am the Democratic Party." Anybody remember him saying that? So if that's the case, Joe Biden, and if the Democratic Party walks lock in step with you and what your administration and what you plan to do, you need to attack this twofold. One, you need to get a handle on this virus because there are millions of people out here dying. And you all need to have a concerted effort. There needs to be a structured, a strategic attack based on the science, letting the scientists and the medical professionals lead you in telling us how exactly we need to attack this and get the vaccines out there across the fruited plains, no matter what state you're in. And if that means that the medical professionals can say in this state, this is how you need to do it, and in that state, this is how you need to do it, then let them do that. Or if they say we can handle all 50 states the same, then, but I'm sure, I am certain that we have some of the smartest minds around the world that are in this country. Let those individuals who have expertise in this explain to you how this needs to happen, and you need to get it done, and you need to do it now. Okay? Because there are people dying. That is priority number one. While that is going on, while your administration is handling that, you need to direct your Department of Justice to throw the book at these people, to bust them across the head, okay? With everything, with all kinds of adjudications, all types of, the full scope and full arm of the justice system needs to be thrown at the people responsible for this. You also need to direct Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi that they need to be putting their energies at censoring and expelling those members of the House and those members of the Senate that had anything to do with continuing the insurrection. Because let's be clear, the insurrection wasn't just breaking into the Capitol building. The insurrection was trying to thwart the certification of a democratically held election. That is the true insurrection. The insurrection truly is those individuals who try to stop the votes of the majority of this country. The insurrection was trying to do everything in their power to say that the votes of the majority of this country were null and void, that they did not count. That is the real insurrection. So we're talking about the real insurrection is, yeah, you can talk about these yahoos that broke in. And that's why we have the Department of Justice to handle them. But I also want the Department of Justice to look at some of these congressmen in both houses. I want you, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, to have the same energy for these for your colleagues as you have for the president, because you see that a lot with the Dems in positions of power. They'll always talk about my colleagues and so forth and stuff like that, and they'll say certain things on TV, but still behind closed doors do everything they can to protect their colleagues. Now, I'm about to give some rough talk to a black um person that y'all gonna get mad at me, and I don't care. Let me have a conversation with you, General Colin Powell. I love you to death, Colin Powell. Love you down, but you get no brownie points. You get no claps. You get no applause. You get no kudos. But now all of a sudden, you don't want to call yourself a Republican anymore. Oh, now is the problem. Now you want to, disengage. Now you want to disassociate yourself with these people. Really? Really, Colin Powell. Love you to death, Colin Powell. Love you down. I'm not here for you, Colin Powell. I don't it means nothing to me at this point that all of a sudden now you want to tell me, oh, I can't call myself a Republican at this point anymore. You should have had that energy 4 years ago. You should have had that energy 4 years ago when you and your fellow Republicans elected a miscreant, elected a derelict to society. That's where the energy should have been placed. I don't want to hear from you right now, Colin Powell. I don't want to hear all of this stuff because now you are so. I mean, you're just so shocked that this was happening. You're so angry that this happened in your country. Not here for it. Not here for it at all. I am not here for it at all. Anybody else notice your boy out of the great state of South Carolina, Tim Scott? He been real quiet lately. Anybody notice how quiet your boy? That's y'all boy, Tim Scott. Anybody else notice how quiet he been lately? That young man have been real quiet. Anybody else notice how quiet he been? What's going on, Senator Scott? You real quiet over there. You ain't got nothing to say over there. What's going on? Mm-hmm. You real quiet over there, bro. You real quiet, Senator Tim Scott. Where's that same energy? These people are rich. They are rich. They are really, really, really rich. I'm like, yeah. Hmm. I give none of these people it. Listen, I'm here for all of the smoke. I got smoke for listen. I got smoke for them all. I do not care. I don't care. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Y'all let this mess go on. You fed the fire. You took out your gas cans, poured gas cans all over the place, and took a match and said, There it is." I have no understanding. None. None. So now y'all want to now they're talking about, oh, we're gonna have 15,000 National Guard troops descend upon Washington to protect the inauguration. How about the fact that the FBI just put out there that every state capital across the fruited plains could be in danger? How about that? See, y'all are not taking this stuff seriously enough. You got people that have already told you what they're going to do and don't think that they're not. They are coming to US capitals armed. And as you can see, there are more of them than there are law enforcement. Now, a couple things in place here. Let me paint this picture for you. I hate to be an alarmist here, but sometimes y'all know every now and again I get on my soapbox and I am an alarmist. Remember, hey, they'll tell y'all, remember, I was the COVID alarmist. I was the coronavirus alarmist before there was a lot of coronavirus alarmist. Way back, I think that was the first weekend of March. I got on this same channel and I screamed holy hell when people looked at me like it's really not that serious. And now we see almost a half a million deaths later that it is. Let me be an alarmist again. The United States military proper, meaning the traditional branches, four branches of enlisted soldiers, cannot come on United States soil and do anything. The National Guard can. Now, the National Guard is a different they are a part of the military, but they're not a part of what everybody generally, just to give you some thing about it, they're not a part of what you all know to be traditional military that goes out, fights in wars in other countries, so forth and so on. The National Guard is filled with individuals who don't have full-time enlistment in the military. They will go like once a month, or and they'll have to go and train and stuff like that to make sure they're still ready, tactically ready. And I think once a quarter they go in for like a weekend and they participate in drills and stuff like that to keep themselves up to speed. And whenever a governor, and governors control the national guards within their respective um governors are the ones who have control of the national guard and can send them out to different places within their respective states as needed. Now, as you can probably imagine, the National Guard only has a finite number of individuals in it. And as you saw with these insurrectionists, that was just a small grain of sand on the beach in terms of the numbers of white supremacists across these yet to be United States of America. You think more of them are not coming? And if you are putting all of your if you're putting so many National Guard troops on Washington, DC, that now means that these other state capitals become more vulnerable, because even if they do have National Guardsmen that stay in these respective states, it's going to be less than there probably would have been. And so now you make all of these other state capitals more vulnerable. Remember, we had a whole group of nefarious people that tried to kidnap the governor of the state of Michigan. You had a whole group of people that took over the governor's mansion in the state of Washington. These people are armed and dangerous and do not care about the laws that you all have. You want to know why? Because they feel that they're above the law. They are white people who feel that laws do not apply to them. And when they can look across the line and see that some of their same fellow military personnel and some of their same fellow police officers are the ones that are supposed to stop them from coming in, they look and say, oh, that's my bro, that's my boy, or whatever. Well, I know I'm getting up in here. And what happens? They get in. Exactly, Nappy Chow. You have people who are out here erecting gallows, okay, on the United States Capitol. I forgot what state it was. They erected a whole guillotine on on the grounds of their Capitol building. You hope and you pray that people in positions of power are a little bit smarter. But when you watch it and you look and you go, yeah, I don't know how this gonna go, because you see the setup. Joe Biden, let me help you understand something, sir. Let me help you understand something. You don't get any kudos or brownie points for trying to flex and say, I'm not afraid of having my inauguration outside, so forth and so on. That's a real selfish take on that. And now that you're the president of the, and now that not you're not president yet, but now that you are about to become president of these yet to be United States of America, you can't be flexing and trying to be all, you can't just be thinking about how this makes you look. But what you have to think about is the position to which you hold, and that the fact that every move that you make has a ripple effect. And sometimes, even though you may want to do something, even though personally, before you had become president, you might have done that, you can't do that now. And so you out here trying to flex and act like I'm not afraid to have my election outside. Wrong message. Wrong message, sir. Wrong message. What you should have said was, I am going to consult with my national security team and other individuals who are directly have direct say on what is happening with the inauguration, and we will have a decision forthcoming because we do understand that our intelligence is telling us that there is and can be a lot that's going on. And if I am going to become president of these yet to be United States of America, I not only need to make sure that my inauguration goes without a hit, but I also need to be sure that the Capitol buildings of all 50 states are also protected. I also need to be sure that we protect not only the United States Capitol and government, but we protect the capitals and governments of each of these 50 states. And if we cannot do that, I have failed you and this government has failed you. So I'm not going to give you an answer yet, but we are in talks and we are having meeting. And as soon as we come up with as soon as we make a decision, we will let you know. We do not bow to terrorists. We do not cower to terrorists. However, we will make the best decision so that we can have the best amount of security for not just me, but for each and every governor and for each and every capital in this country. That is where you go, but not over here trying to flex with your little man boobs in your little polo shirt with your little man boobs. I am not a freak. Biden, you got to start thinking as a president now. Get your life in order. Get your life in order. Listen, quintessential. It does not matter. Your 45 is going to do everything to ruin every moment that you try to have to get elected, okay? Listen, nothing's going to take away from you being president of the United States. But if you go out here and you try to flex and something horrible takes place simultaneously in another part of the country or at another capital or to another governor or even at your inauguration, now you going to be wishing that you wouldn't have done that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what that's like? That's just like the fact that I have a lot of friends who, during this COVID pandemic, turned 40. A lot of friends, all of us are around the same age. As you all know, I just turned 42 on January 1st. I turned 42 on January 1st. But I have a lot of friends who just turned 40 last year during the pandemic, and I and will be turning 40 this year, probably during the pandemic. While you want to go out and you want to flex and you want to celebrate and you want to party and you want to have this big, grandiose thing that will show off what an accomplishment it is for you to live 4 decades on this planet. It's not worth you going out there and perhaps, making yourself susceptible to a disease that could kill you. It's not worth it. So what did most of them do? They had, COVID birthdays. Maybe it was done on Zoom, or maybe it was just a small, intimate setting, with just a few people instead of a big shindig. And those are the things that responsible adults have to do. So if Biden has to take a back step and not have this large, thing that he normally would have, then you just have to do that for the safety and well-being of this country. That it is what it is. I don't care because he's waited 40 years. Hell, if we go back after Obama came out of office, when we really thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, Biden pretty much had said to himself, okay, I'm done with politics. There was nowhere in the world Biden thought that he was going to be anybody's president of these yet to be United States 4 years ago. And he will tell you that. So he's too old to be trying to flex. He might break something. The same type of ego is what so exactly, G. Smith. Thank you. I mean, what are we talking about? Child, these people. Anyway, y'all, I woke up and I was on one this morning. I said I need to come and talk to my people. And I came and I had to talk to y'all and tell y'all what was on my mind. I told y'all more and more I'm finding myself in this lane where I'm more and more addressing the things of politics and the things of being a sounding board. Not that I know all and am all knowing, but sometimes you all know more than I do. But to at least be a microphone for a lot of things that are going on so that everybody can be informed. Not everybody, but those watching and those who may watch the replay can be informed about what's going on because a lot of times they just will not tell you everything that's going on. It's the big smoke screen. It's the big smoke screen, like I said at the beginning of this live. The big smoke screen. And y'all know I've never been one that has cared about making sure that, oh, let me make sure I do what I got to do to get a cash app or super chat. That's not what here. To me, what is of most value is having you all informed about real things that will affect your lives, the lives of your families, and the lives of the individuals that you care about. Exactly, Jonathan Gas. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And so we will be having more opportunities where we just have to put things out there and talk about it. Whether or not the video gets monetized, I'll be honest with you, most times when I talk politics, they don't get monetized because YouTube does not see it for me. But I'm not here for money. That's why I'm gainfully employed. But we gotta start to speak to each other. And y'all know me, I'm always gonna come at it from the vantage point of a black person because I am a black man and these yet to be United States of America. And I definitely know that a lot of times they're not giving you things from our vantage point. I was looking at some numbers, some of the finalized numbers in the Georgia election and I went back and I looked as well at the general election. Certainly black women are to be applauded, but black men definitely in the Georgia election, you had a larger number of black men that voted in the election, in the Georgia Senate election, than had ever voted in previous elections. And those numbers are coming out, which means that you are starting to see that, well, not starting to see because it's been evident for a while, that black people collectively, both the men and women, because a lot of times you hear them say it was just black women, it was just black women, it was just black women, but the black men came out and voted as well for their best interests. And so you have a lot of black people that are out there, but let's be clear. Where's our representation? I'm gonna keep saying this. There's only one black man. Well, I take that back. You got General Lloyd Austin, but you also had what's his name? Cedric I can't think of this man's name. He was a congressman. Oh, why? Remember he ran for head of the DNC for a little bit. God, I can't think of this man's name. Anyway, a black man, but he's way down there. He's like communications, way down there. But my point is, Joe Biden, black men and women are the ones who got you where you are, and I still don't see enough representation about that. I don't care how people feel about it. People tell me I'm wrong for saying that. It's not about, yes, it is for me. And I'm gonna continue to say it. Because if we don't have a seat at the table, listen, if we don't have major seats at the 7 a.m. meeting, the 8 a.m. meeting, Cedric, thank you, Cam, Cedric Richmond, yes. Um, everybody knows presidents have two meetings. You have the 7 a.m. meeting, you have the 8 a.m. meeting, or is it 9 o'clock? I know there's a 7 a.m. meeting, and then I think it's a 9 o'clock meeting or 8 a.m. meeting. But the 7 a.m. meeting is the meeting where everything goes down. That's when you got the real big wigs in the president's cabinet. You got the big four that are at that meeting, the vice president. That's a small meeting. That's a meeting where all of what's really about to go down goes down. Then you have the 8 a.m. meeting. That's a larger meeting, and they have more members of the cabinet there. But the 7 a.m. meeting is where it goes down. And the fact that we have, and if you don't have representation in that 7 a.m. meeting, your needs are not going to be met. Let's clear. Let's be clear. And so when you hear myself, and there are a lot of other black commentators and pundits out there that are saying we have to have representation or our needs are not going to be addressed. And we're going to be at the same place that we were at under the Trump administration, under the Biden administration. Hey, Peaches 04. We have to have representation. Say it how you want to say it. I don't care. Call me what you want to say. Call me. I do not care. We gonna see. We even got to see, and even with the one black man that he nominated, we are not sure whether he's going to get confirmation because he still has to get a waiver. And there are Democrats saying that they don't want to give him a waiver. General Lloyd Austin. There are Democrats saying that they don't want to give him a waiver so that he can be seated as Secretary of Defense. A mess. So representation is paramount to our needs. Paramount. I still am looking. I said this. I think it was last week, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm looking sideways, Biden, because I wanted a black person as Attorney General. And if you tell me you could not find a viable black person to head your Department of Justice, I'm going to say you're a liar. Quintessential. I was gonna start turn on C-SPAN when I left this live, but I have no reason to believe that. Yeah, I mean, they can read all they want about the 25th. There's no way in the world Mike Pence is going to invoke the 25th Amendment. There's no way. That's a moot point. There is not an ice cube's chance in hell that that's going to happen. Mm-mm. But um, I forgot my train of thought. I forgot what I was just saying. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Um, God, I forgot my whole train of thought. I was saying something. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Because we are seen as a reliable voting block. We are exactly. You are exactly right, Cams. Mike is the main one who needs to because Trump is definitely going to get child. It's a mess. It's a whole mess. Um they could save that energy on the 25th Amendment and put stuff on the Congress floor and on the Senate, on the House floor and the Senate floor about those rat bastard Republicans and doing censorship and expulsion for those people. Uh, they could be doing taking that time to do that. How about that? A mess. Just a damn mess. Oh yes, I was talking about more representation and leadership. Thank you, Button Jessica. Just fell out the bushes. Where you been all morning, Button Jessica, falling out the bushes? Thank you. But if for some reason General Lloyd Austin doesn't get in there, there's nobody. The only person we have in that 7 a.m. meeting is Kamala. And as Vice President of the United States, Kamala has different. Her role is different than it would be if she's the secretary of one of or is one of those cabinet members that are is in charge with a lot of the important things. So her role is different. Do I believe that she's going to be there fighting for the cause of black people across the fruited plains? Absolutely. And we see that she has done that, but we need more representation. We are not happy and we are not okay with just her. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta hold these people accountable. Anyway, I think I can come off my soapbox now. I've been on for an hour and a half. Let me bring it on down. Bring it on down. Have a drink of water. Bring it on down. Anything else we want to talk about, or before I get off? Anything else y'all want to add to the conversation before I get off here? I enjoy these conversations. Y'all know I get all riled up. I get up on my soapbox. I get all riled up, and I hope that you all enjoy these conversations. Like I said, I really feel like there's a push for me in this direction more often than I do it, and so you've been seeing more of the politics talk. Child G Smith, they do it all the time. Oh, well, we couldn't find something. You're a liar. Just like I'm upset at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, for not appointing an, another black woman, and if not another black woman, at least a black man, um, for that Senate seat that had to be vacated by Kamala Harris. Thank God Raphael Warnock got in there because we would have been went from three black people in the Senate to two. And thank God Raphael Warnock won because now we still will maintain serene. But there's not a single black woman for all of this talk about how black women were so responsible for this election. There is not a single black woman in the United States Senate. Let that sink in. Not one. There is not a single black woman that will be seated in the United States Senate. But y'all expect our needs to be addressed. See what I'm saying? And then you know what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, we had to meet the needs of all of our diverse group of people that got us elected. Hmm. I bet. What was that diverse group of people when you were in the primaries before you got to South Carolina, Joe Biden? How about that? Because those diverse group of people weren't seeing it for you before black people started seeing it for you. Let's be clear. But now you all of a sudden want all of this diversity. Who almost said something? Let me be quiet. Let me get up off here. Y'all finna make me cuss. Exactly. You can't find something that you're not looking for, Cams. You can't find it if you're not looking for it. A mess. Just a mess. Just a damn mess. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to get up off here. Can I get some shondos in the chat? I hope that y'all let me know if y'all enjoy these talks where I give political commentary and we divulge and unsheath a lot of stuff that they are divulging and unsheathing to us. Y'all let me know if y'all truly enjoy these types of talks because I enjoy having them with you, and I hope that you all are gaining some information, and I hope that the dialogue between myself and you all in the chat and the dialogue that y'all be having in the chat, because y'all be putting out some good gems down in the chat as well. I hope that it is informative and empowering to you because we're always here for that. Oh, listen, I have a fez. Jermaine. What's good, Jermaine? I do have a fez. Because I am a member of the Shriner. I am a Shriner. I'm a Prince Hall Shriner. So I do have a fez that is colored, that is made out of Fez Morocco, made with the berries that grow in Fez Morocco and from the Moorish. impact that they had. Did you read what I typed? What did I? Not trying to be smart, but I pray Madam VP hopefully has a team in place because Joe don't be looking too good at child. Mm, you ain't never lied. But knowing Kamala, she's the type that is always prepared. I have no doubt that she's prepared. I have no doubt. You asked me to shoot me right sure you'll be over there. Child. He be sometimes struggling just to get through his prepared statements, but let me be quiet. Let me get up off here. Shondo's across the road. Shondo's in the chat. To everybody, thank you all for being vocal present and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for always engaging me and being willing to listen to what I have to say. No, he has the same ego problem as Trump. He's definitely not going to just let her up. Child. 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 Y'all, I'm trying to get off, y'all. I'm trying to get off. But thank you all for being vocal present and active, doing what you do. I love y'all. I love on y'all, as I always say. It was great talking to y'all. Great um being able to engage with y'all. Y'all keep your eyes and ears open, stay prayed up, and keep your gun loaded. Okay. Keep watching, keep your eyes open, stay prayed up, and keep your gun loaded. I'm just saying. Until next time, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive